We're now in day 26 of the federal government shutdown. The funding stalemate is now the second longest in United States history. Democratic holdouts are demanding Republicans sit down with them to discuss health care reforms, but Republicans say they won't do that until the government reopens. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries was on today's edition of Face the Nation and said he's ready to negotiate with Republicans.
Our view as Democrats is that we want to sit down with anyone, anytime, any place, either at the Capitol or back at the White House, to reopen the government, to enact a bipartisan spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people, while at the same time decisively addressing the Republican health care crisis that is crushing the American people.
Friday marked the first time many federal employees missed a paycheck due to the shutdown. And the effects of the shutdown are starting to be felt by millions of Americans with less than a week until food benefit programs run out of funding. 5 News reporter Bo Russell brings us the latest on the situation here in Arkansas and across the country.
All around America, groups are preparing for SNAP funding to run out on November 1st. In Woburn, Massachusetts, the Postal Service is chipping in.
So all the food that comes in here today gets sorted. We check for dates, expiration dates, gets loaded on our shelves and put out for people to come in and shop for.
In Texas, the Salvation Army is stepping up.
They're not sure what's going to happen next month. Some families were saying, we're not sure we're going to get food assistance next month. Will you be available to help us? I said, if you all need help, come. We'll do whatever it takes to help them.
Here in Arkansas, groups like the River Valley Regional Food Bank are doing what they can to prepare as well.
Everything here is donations and grants. We are not federally or state funded, so everything everybody does helps, counts, and helps to feed your neighbor in need.
Right now, over 200,000 Arkansans rely on SNAP. Should the government shutdown run into next weekend, those benefits will run out.
People are hungry, and I don't think people realize how many people here are hungry. Arkansas says 1 in 5, and children is 1 in 4.
On Friday, federal workers received their first paycheck of the shutdown. The amount on it read zero.
I would have never thought in a million years that I would have been in this position to have to go to a food bank.
In Washington, the blame game of the shutdown continues.
What's unclear about the fact that Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency?
We are now on day 23 of the Democrat government shutdown. Senate Democrats have voted 12 separate times now to keep the government closed.
Arkansas Representative Steve Womack sent 5 News a statement that says in part Americans are being caught in the crossfire of political games, and I'm focused on reopening the government so that the critical programs Arkansans rely on are funded and functioning. The Senate will reconvene Monday afternoon. I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
The shutdown is also putting a strain on air travel. Airports across the country have reported more staffing shortages than usual. Since the shutdown began October 1st, more than 250 FAA facilities have reported staffing problems. That's more than 4 times the number reported during the same period last year. The longer the shutdown lasts, the more financial pressure it puts on these workers.
That leads to an unnecessary distraction, and they cannot be 100% focused on their jobs, which makes this system less safe every day that this shutdown continues.
Travelers are being warned to expect longer security lines and to monitor any flights for changes. All this goes with less than a month to go before the busy holiday travel season. We'll continue following any developing updates on the shutdown from the U.S. Capitol. You can keep up to date with the latest by visiting our website, 5newsonline.com, or downloading our free 5 News smartphone app. Well, Arkansas Game and Fish are still searching for the bear linked to the death of a 60-year-old camper earlier this month. DNA taken from the victim and from the bear doesn't match, meaning a bear that was euthanized following the attack isn't the one responsible for the death. The attack happened on October 2nd at Sam's Throat Campground in the Ozark National Forest, and it's the second bear attack this year. Game and Fish say that prior to these incidents, the last time a deadly bear attack happened, Arkansas Game and Fish wasn't even an agency. Officials tell us the DNA results are disappointing, but they'll keep investigating and searching for the bear.
So from here, we're going to continue to keep our cameras at the campground. We've also got our traps set up there. We just rebaited them again last week. Hopefully we can get something, on camera or in the traps. We haven't that's the only bear that has come back to the campground, which is really odd, and that's really the reason why we thought that was probably the bear.
If you see a bear that's acting aggressively, you're advised to contact Game and Fish. Well, Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge in Eureka Springs has completed its first ever international rescue, bringing 6 African lions from Canada to Arkansas just before freezing temperatures set in. We spoke with the sanctuary about the journey that brought them here.
The lions have a very bright future at the sanctuary.
That future looked very different just months ago when a roadside zoo in Ontario shut down, leaving the lions in dangerous and unsanitary conditions.
The smell and the ammonia that was in their night houses and their places where they were sleeping was just horrific.
A sanctuary in Canada housed the cats temporarily while international permits were secured by Turpentine Creek, a process made even more difficult during the government shutdown.
It's down to 40 degrees already, and we knew there's a cold front coming in this week, so we had to make a move.
With time running out, the team made the 24-hour drive from Canada to Arkansas, bringing all 6 lions to their new permanent home.
Whenever we go out on rescue, there's always a devastating background to why the animals have to be put in a sanctuary. And Turpentine Creek is one of only 10 Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries in the United States that do this kind of work.
Among the lions is a rare white lion named Thor, and during the wait for transport, 2 cubs were born to their mother, Nirvana.
To see them running and playing and actually making the trip and all the challenges that we had to get them here.
After months of uncertainty, these 6 cats are finally safe with a lifetime of care ahead.
We have many biologists, zoologists that are going to make sure that all their needs are met every single day. So they get cleaned areas, they get enrichment, they'll get toys to play with, and they'll just get to live a life of dignity and respect.
Just days away, and while most families are getting ready for costumes and candy this week, advocates for dementia patients are reminding us that the holiday can be overwhelming for some older adults, especially those living with Alzheimer's.
And individuals with Alzheimer's or dementia might actually have a hard time understanding the difference between what is a costume or what is a decoration and what is real. So they might have a very real fear of what is going on in a holiday like Halloween.
And veterinarians are also offering advice for keeping your pets safe this week. They're encouraging people to keep their dogs and cats in a quiet room on Halloween night so they don't dart outside when you open the door for trick-or-treaters. And it's also important to remember that many of our Halloween treats can be toxic to our four-legged friends, so it's best to keep them away from your pets.
Ingesting chocolate is a medical emergency. So no matter how much they've had, if your dog is small and they've eaten, you don't know how much, or if your dog is big and you kind of know how much, go ahead and get them to the emergency clinic. It's just not worth it to lose your pet because you weren't sure, and you'd much rather have them at home and keep them than have something tragic happen.
And Crystal Bridges got their Halloween celebration started earlier today. They hosted their annual Trick Art Treat event, and the rainy weather this weekend didn't put a damper on the annual event. It turned the museum's North Forest into a candy-filled art adventure. In addition to wearing costumes, kids also made Halloween-themed art and met a few spooky characters along the way. So much fun.